Hello and welcome to part number 4 of my F1 2019 career mode. We're here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku for round 4 of this season's championship. As you can see from the R&D, two of the parts that we had scheduled to come in for this race have thankfully been put on the car. They haven't failed. Which is good, which is very good. Obviously they help us. It was aero and I think it was an engine upgrade as well, so they're both very handy for this weekend in Baku and for next weekend in Spain and so forth, with Monaco, Canada, France, Austria and those after as well. We've got a couple of R&D points. I did practice 1 and 2. I've decided though, with the R&D, we are going to do another minor upgrade with the aero, and that will come in for the Spanish Grand Prix, hopefully, if it doesn't fail, because we have got a major come in on the engine side for that race as well. But weather wise, it's going to be cloudy, it's not raining, so it's good. But let's go to qualifying.
Welcome to qualifying in the Republic of Azerbaijan. The teams are making their last-minute adjustments before the lights go green and the fight for pole position can get underway. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
So on our first run here in Q1, we get completely blocked by Lando Norris, which I've got to be honest, I wasn't too annoyed because it was a very, very scruffy lap, as well as the blocking, which obviously cost us some valuable attempts. So as we make a massive mistake there, nearly doing what Verstappen did in 2018, I think it was, in practice when he set an absolute stonker of a lap and then went and binned it in the wall. We nearly do the same thing again when we get going again further around the lap. I think that's turn 6 or something. Not quite sure, don't quote me on that. Let me know what it is in the comments below. We're going to reverse and just wait for it when no one's coming and get going again. You can see we've got damage on the right hand side of that front wing. But we are going to go for it again. I don't think I actually noticed that I had front wing damage at the time, so I just went for another lap. But into turn 1, a massive amount of understeer, nearly clipping that barrier that Alexander Albon clipped in the real life Grand Prix. And into turn 2, everything was looking quite, it was a clean lap, let's just say that, but it just wasn't, was it? As we're down in the first and second sectors, so I just decided to bail. We're going to come into the pits and then go out on a fresh set of tyres. So right at the end of Q1, you can see the lap time that we set first, the one where Lando Norris blocked us. We're only currently P19, and you know what? Could this be the 4th race in a row where we qualify last? Q1, the qualifying's ended, so we only have this run. We're up in Q1. We go into the castle section. It's going to be very difficult. Through nearly clipping that barrier, just getting it to perfection. If you head into the quick middle sector, but then as we cut on then onto the pit straight, we had another good middle sector. As we head down into turn 1 and across the line, it's P13, a decent-ish lap just about scraping through into Q2. But the ultimate thing is, we're not last for once, unless we get 2 5 place group penalties, of course. Enough for that. If we was to get knocked out in Q2. Was first lap then in Q2. Turn 1 was alright, turn 2 was alright as well. Heading up into turn 3. And now coming across the line, and that lap good enough for P7, but actually Bottas going faster, so we're pushed down to P8. So I think we're definitely going to have to go again. But as we skip on to the end of the session, we're back in the pits. You can see we are the slowest car out there. So as we break into turn 1, we've just got to go for it on this lap. I was fairly comfortable with the first lap, but obviously it wasn't good enough. So through turn 2 again, and on towards turn 3. Long back straight. Hopefully the drain is covered and it's not going to flick out like it did on George Russell in practice this year. As we've had 2 good protectors and across the line, and that is good enough for P9. So we're into Q3 then for the first time in our F1 career. And to be honest, anything more than this, Alex Albon not getting through, but any more than getting into Q3 is a bonus really, after going off the fact in Australia, Bahrain and China we couldn't even get off the back row. So you know what, anything's a bonus. So we go into turn 2. I've decided, you can see by the time, I'll skip right onto the end of the session, just for the fact that I didn't have any fresh set of soft tyres. So I thought I'll just do the 1-1, maybe get 2 runs in if I go out early enough. But as we head on towards the line, and hopefully we can put this lap in. But if we cross the line, it's only good enough for P10, which going off a Q3, not a good lap, we're the slowest, but in terms of the car performance, P10 is very, very strong, especially when you think to where Albon is. But it's been another dominant showing by Mercedes, just like in real life. I'm not complaining, I'm a Mercedes fan, but it's a 1-2 for Mercedes. Bottas on pole as well, just like the real life Grand Prix. But if you didn't see in the last video, we picked a rival. That rival is Lucas Weber, because you get extra XP if you pick one of the kind of story F2 rivals of such. So we picked him, and especially also going off of the back of that great battle we had in China. But let's go to the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. Anthony Davidson joins me today as we look ahead to something just a little bit different. It's quite high speed for a street circuit here, isn't it? Do you think that's going to throw up any unexpected situations?
Well, as long as the teams can keep everything cool, I don't foresee any particular big issues from a technical side of things. I do expect the track to be quite slippery though. We've not exactly had much chance to rubber in the surface. Any street circuit also comes with its own challenges, so I think we'll be seeing a few mistakes here and there. The smart strategy would be to expect a safety car, I think, especially early on when the pack is bunched up.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Gasly, Sergio Perez, and Stroll, Verstappen, Magnussen, Brown, and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Weber, Alexander Albon, and Leclerc. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Lando Norris, and Devon Butler. Kubica and George Russell ends our grid lineup. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
This weekend just keeps getting better, doesn't it? After a great qualifying, getting into the top 10, Charles Leclerc takes a penalty. I'm guessing it's engine related, so that puts us another place up in P9, but most importantly on the clean side of the grid. So looking at the race strategy, for once it's not a one stop, it's a two stop with the soft and then two sets of mediums for the race. Obviously you can look at that, the softs aren't going to go far. I think 5 laps max. We go on to the formation lap, which for once I didn't jump. We actually did it properly. But I just wanted to mention about what I've done for this race. You probably would have noticed it in qualifying. I've turned the racing line back on, just for the fact I've kind of always used it in past F1 games, but I decided at the start of F1 2019, you know what, I'm going to turn it off and see what happens. But I was just struggling, so I've decided I'm going to try and improve with it off camera, and then I'll put it back into career, because I didn't think it was really fair making you kind of anticipate what's happening in the race, and then because I've been struggling so much with like breaking points and stuff because I'm so used to the racing line, even I can't. I decided to turn it back on. So it's lights out and away we go here in Baku. It's going to be a goodish start for the team Mercedes. We've got a good start. I'll explain more about the racing line in a sec. As Hamilton's left defending Vettel into turn 1, we've managed to get past Magnussen. We're going to try and get past Verstappen on that racing point of, I think it's Perez, but Verstappen's got a shocker at the start. As in the background, our teammates coming under pressure as Magnussen has a little look to our inside, but managed to defend him. We're going to try and get past Max Verstappen, because I want to prove my worth to Christian Horner and Red Bull, because ultimately at some point possibly we could end up moving to Red Bull. So we want to prove that we've got what it takes to take the fight to kind of the big brother team as such. But we're side by side with the two Haas drivers, the battle I don't want to be in, the two most aggressive drivers in the sport. You could maybe even say the three with me after China. There's contact there with Hülkenberg, I think it is. He's losing a part of his front wing, but the two Haases absolutely blitzed past us there, left defenceless. What do? I defend one, then the other one's going to hit me, let's be honest. But the two Haas drivers are side by side as Grosjean's engine blows up there. We were kind of sat there with the popcorn, but now we've got to get the move on to catch Magnussen. Confirmation coming up in just a sec that Grosjean is out. Obviously, I saw it, you saw it. His engine was pretty much dead, let's be honest. It just blowing up on the spot. But what we need to do now is just get our head down and try and catch Magnussen. But I don't think, as we move on to lap 5, that we have the pace. But Charles Leclerc is going to come past us here, which I'm not going to fight him. He's quicker than me, and I guess that that Ferrari is probably about 6-7 tenths a lap quicker than the Toro Rosso. But as we skip on to the end of the lap, we're going to come into the pits for our first stop of the day, onto the mediums, and we'll just see how far we can take them. But going back to the racing line, I didn't want to leave you guys anticipating like the next race when it won't, where it's not really that great for the fact that we're struggling. I'm at the back. Australia, prime example. China, prime example. Bahrain, kind of, we had battles, but we were still going backwards in that race. That's why I've decided to turn it back on and just kind of see what happens, really. Hopefully we have some better racing. But look who we've caught. Lance Stroll. This time it is Lance Stroll. In China I said it was Perez, but he squeezed up us against the wall and we've kind of blitzed past him there. It's a bit surprising. I was surprised by how quick this Toro Rosso actually was, especially with the Honda engine. Obviously we are down on power slightly, but I kind of found that at the power tracks, especially in China as well, it had good pace at the power tracks, this Toro Rosso. But we've caught the one and only Devon Butler. We're going to make him look absolutely stupid here. We go to the outside, we're going to sail around his outside, hang him out to dry. And he's probably crying in that helmet as we get past him, and now we're on the back of Kevin Magnussen. I mean, it might look like I've got good pace. We dive it down the inside of Kevin Magnussen very late, just like we kind of did in China. Still don't know why I made half of those moves in China, to be honest. Some of them were definitely very risky. I still don't know where I got the damage as well. If any of you guys know, let me know. But as we get deeper into this race now, I'm not sure who was holding up this massive pack, but up ahead you can see Charles Leclerc is getting absolutely swamped. We get swamped by Magnussen, but Charles Leclerc has probably lost, I want to say, 2 maybe 3 positions, and it's going to lose out to Magnussen here. I'm just going to sat here eating the popcorn. We're going to have a little look to the inside of Magnussen. Couldn't quite do anything, but Magnussen side by side. But that Ferrari is too quick in a straight line for the Haas, so he does just about stay ahead. But I'm not quite sure who's actually ahead of this pack. I think everyone's just kind of battling each other. So it's just a concertina effect. We're going to go very late to the inside of Magnussen. I don't know why I'm being so aggressive to literally one of the most aggressive drivers on the grid as he blocks us. And that's damage. I don't know why we were so aggressive to literally the most aggressive driver on the grid. Use that. But here comes Lance Stroll past us, and Daniel Ricciardo. We're going to try and follow Daniel Ricciardo through. We're going to just give him a little love tap, a little bit of a little bump draft, let's just say. As is side by side with Stroll now, and I think that Sport Pesta and Lucid Force India then, very Lucid Force India, gets past Daniel Ricciardo as we go for the dive bomb and hit the wall and hit Ricciardo, and that's just more damage to an already broken front wing. So I think it's pretty much coming that we're going to have to stop and change this front wing. As just look at the time of loss, we were right on the back of Magnussen. Past goes Hulkenberg here, we got damage off. He got damage off of us, I think, at the start. So he's kind of recovering. But he's absolutely blitzed us. The understeer, you can see it through turn 1. It's just stupid. As we come on then to the end of lap 13, we are going to pit. And we are going to change the front wing. The stop was quite a bit earlier than our scheduled stop, but I was like, I can't carry on. So, but I weren't sure whether the mediums could go to the end, so I decided to go into the hards. Looking back on it now, I probably could have gone on the mediums, but I just didn't want to risk it, so I've played it safe, gone on the hards. Let's just see what we can do with them. Hopefully this isn't it for the rest of the race. But as we cut on to lap 22, look who it is. Devon Butler We've already made him look stupid once this race. We're going to try go to his inside, but he's going to squeeze us. We're going to have to back out of it, but we're not. We're going to go on the outside of him, and once again we're going to sail around his outside and make him look very stupid again. I'm not sure. He's very kind to us there. I'm sure if I was in Butler's position there, I would have been squeezing him, but here he comes on the start-finish straight. That's something with this track. It's very, very OP. Slipstream, DRS, all of that, all put together. Very OP. So he's just absolutely blitzed past us there for P17, which at this point is the last place because Valtteri Bottas, you can see there, has retired. I'm not sure when that happened, but we're on the back of Butler again. We're going to try go to the outside, but he covered. Very clever there. We're going to try go to his inside. We're going to brake cut back, but he's blocked us, and we've made contact with him. And we've got a little bit of damage from that. You can see that the engine's very worn, the ICE. We're going to try defend Butler there, and we do stay ahead of him, as here he comes again on lap 25. This is going on to the final lap of the race. Here he comes, absolutely blitzes us there. We're going to have to try and defend right round the outside, but he squeezed us out. I'm not having that. You know, if you think you're going to squeeze me and get away with it, you're very, very wrong. As down the inside we go very late, we're going to squeeze Butler against the wall, because like I just said, you're not going to squeeze me and get away with it. I'm not aggressive. I sort of Lewis Hamilton wins the race, but I just think if you're going to drive dirty to me, I want to drive dirty to you. That's the way of thinking. But here comes Butler. At this point I had damage to my front wing. I was like, I'm just going to floor it, and what happens. You can see we've got a very damaged front wing here. Butler pulls to the inside of us, and that's pretty much game over. He's passed us. He's now got the DRS, and round one for the battles between me and Butler goes to him.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So Lewis Hamilton winning the race and taking the lead of the drivers' standings, but P2 going to Pierre Gasly. Who would have thought that? But down at the back, obviously we finished last of the finishers again, and I think actually that means if you was to look at the like positions on the results thing, it would be 17th, 17th, 18th, 18th. I think the race, it was alright. I think it was better than China, but I don't know whether it was better than Bahrain. It's better than China, definitely better than Australia. But as we look at the championship, Hamilton now got an entire race win on Sebastian Vettel. But you look at that, we are bottom of the driver's standings. That's embarrassing. And we're also bottom of the constructors as well, so I can't just blame Albon for that. Obviously that is me as well.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You and Devon weren't far apart by the end of the race. How evenly matched are you? You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners? Do you have any comments about the collisions? Great. Well, that's everything.
That is slightly a bit embarrassing now, for the fact Williams are outscoring us in this career mode. I know it's only a point, but they're still outscoring us. That's not good. That's really going to have to change for the Spanish Grand Prix. We need points in that race. Looking at the R&D, we've got a decent amount of points, but we've failed the team objective. So now the team pretty much hate us. But I got to the point where we're going to see some, hopefully maybe driver changes, with the fact we've got our first contract negotiation. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to put the qualifying position on 15 for the fact we should be easily getting into Q2. And in the race result in 12th, we should be getting points every race. Or at least most races, but they're not going to have that.
They aren't coming round to that proposal.
So I literally changed one thing. I think it was the pit stop efficiency, or the upgrade speed in fact, and then that was it. They accepted it. So that was pretty much the best contract we could have got. But we're going to do one more upgrade before the Spanish Grand Prix, and that is going to be a general wear update, which lets us start kind of the other wear and durability parts on the car. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of this content. But until next time, goodbye.